Hey everyone, welcome to Lead Programmer. Today we are going to look at the problem to sum. So we have been given an array of integers and an integer target. We should return the indices of two numbers such that they add up to the target. We can also assume that there would be exactly one solution and we may not use the same element twice. Alright, so when we first read the problem, we quickly get a brute force solution in mind, which is why not look at all the pairs that we can form out of the given array, and why not add those pairs up and see if they're equal to the target. If they are, then we just return their indices. You're right. That is a totally acceptable solution, but what about its runtime? That would be disastrous. Can we do better? Now, let's think about it. When we are given an array, let's start parsing it from the beginning. We see, okay, 2, and we see that the target is 9. So we have 2, we have the target which is 9. What is missing? We are missing 9 minus 2, which is 7. So we need to put this 7 on our wanted list. So we have some data structure. Let's call it the wanted data structure. We want 7 to be there. Now, what if 7 was found at a later stage? We also want to store the index of 2, because if 7 is found at the later stage, we return the index of 7 and we return the index of 2. So, what data structure can we use? Now, if you're using Python, you would be familiar with dictionaries or any programming languages. You'll know Hashmap. So, Hashmap allows you to store key value pairs, and if we take 7 as the key, we can search for 7 in our entire hash map or hash table in a constant amount of time. So that's the rationale behind choosing a hash table, right? Now, the idea is we come to this element. We see, is 2 present in our hash table? If it was present in our hash table, then we know that we have found a pair and we just return the pair. If 2 is not present in our hash table, then we basically form a new key value pair where the key would essentially be the target minus the current number, because that's what is wanted. We want 7, and the value of that would essentially be 0. That is the index of 2, right? So let's just keep that in mind. Our wanted list or our hash table is currently 7. So that's the key, and the value is 0. Move on. We come to 7. We follow the same logic. Is 7 in our hash table? Luckily, it is. What do we return? Then we essentially return the index of 7, which is 1, and the value corresponding to the key 7, which is 0. And that's what our answer is. So I hope the explanation is clear. Let's quickly get some code written. So I essentially need a hash table. So let's just call it sum map, right? So that's the initialization. And so I'm using Python because it's like pseudocode. It's easy to read and you can easily convert it to the language of your preference once you understand the solution. So let's essentially have a for loop because we want to iterate through each and every element of nums. So for I in range length of the array that we have and following the logic. So first we want to check if that number So if the number that we are currently at is present in our hash table, so we do that using sum map dot keys. It looks at the keys present in our hash table sum map. Now, if it is present, we are lucky. We essentially just have, let's just call our output list as outlist. So just initializing an array. Let's just copy this. And if there is a match, then we just want to return the indices, and that's what I'm doing here. We want to add I to our list, and we want to add the value corresponding to the nums at I. And then we just essentially return it. There you go. Else, if there is no match, recall what I said. We create a record in our hash table. So in order to create that record, we just do sum map where our key is essentially target minus nums at I, and our value is essentially I. Well, guess what? That's what the solution is. We just have two parts to it. If there is a match in our hash table, and if there is no match in our hash table, what do we do? That's what twosome is. So if you'd like to see more videos on explaining more questions in a simple way, please subscribe, like the video, share it. See you soon.